When it rains, it pours because Evoker is getting love every week of the month now. I'm not jealous at all. No, I'm not, because it actually deserves a lot more love as well as one of the new DPS specs of Dragonfly that has been seeing a little bit less playtime than what you would have expected from a new class being introduced into the game, and that's not without actual reasons. And now we're gonna go into what actually changed for Evoker, because it's looking pretty good on top of the third spec that's kind of rumored, maybe almost implemented, kind of not, but pretty much already there. Evoker is amazing, and looking at Devastation with all of the changes that it's happening to it, mains of Devastation will definitely be way happier in 10.1 because it's pretty much 110% all positive stuff. So with that out of the way, let's go into some new changes, and I raise my cup of coffee to you dear nerds around the world and wish you good morning while we check all this new cool stuff that's been announced from Blizzard this week, because it's been quite a little bit. And hey, listen, if by any chance it's not morning where you are, don't drink coffee. You're going to ruin your circadian rhythm, and that's not what we promote here at Marcelian&Online. What we do promote actually is hitting the like and subscribe button so you can get notified when we do new videos. It's part of the YouTube thing. We kind of haven't said it in a while, but hey, we can say it again because why not? Thank you, and let's take a look at what's changing for Devastation in 10.1. And to start it off, let's actually take a look at what the devs have said about it, because the dev notes are actually pretty important, especially if you want to know like the mindset of where they're gonna take the spec, what they're thinking about the spec, what it could need, especially if you're already maining it and you're not 100% sure in 10.1. So to quote, "Thanks to the invaluable feedback from all of you, we've made further changes to Devastation's talent. The bottom section of the tree has been significantly rearranged and has fewer 2-point nodes. Yes! Causality has been iterated on, maintaining the goal of rewarding fully channeled disintegrates, but addressing the concerns with how the new design would have interacted with haste. Finally, some underused talents have gotten partial or full reworks to introduce new builds and playstyle options," which I guess I can speak from pretty much all Devastations that this is godsend. Thank you very much. Devastation doesn't really have build diversity, and that kind of blows. So this is definitely fixing one of my main gripes with the spec. So let's actually take a look at the changes individually. Causality now makes Disintegrate reduce the remaining cooldown of your Empower spells by 0.5 seconds each time it deals damage. Fire also reduces their cooldowns by 0.4 seconds per enemy struck up to 2 seconds. Causality is no longer a choice talent, it's now a capstone. It's all the way at the bottom, middle part of the talent tree, which is, let's just say, it's way interesting than before, which I think before we have in its place Hoarded Power, but Causality is definitely more interesting because the cooldown reduction aspect of any spec is really fun in WoW, since WoW makes it, actually, however much we like to criticize it, makes it really fun to press big buttons that do cool stuff. So having them faster is obviously really good, and will most likely interact with future designs of the spec, since it revolves around you casting your empowered spells more often. Now, Fonts of Magic also has an added effect. It will now cause your Empower spells to reach maximum level in 20% less time, on top of your Empower spells also having a max level increase of 1. Obviously, we've seen these types of mechanics in both Devastation and Preservation, and they were kind of spread around, and okay, sure, they're not that interesting, so having them baked into one node makes it really, really cool, and definitely interacts with, you know, your levels of empowerment choice when you cast one of these spells a little bit more. It makes it have a little bit more sense. I like it. Ever-Burning Flame is no longer a choice node with Feed the Flames, and we will probably get into this in a minute. Feed the Flames basically is a capstone that makes you, after casting 12 pyres, your next pyre will explode into a firestorm. Now, this is so cool because Firestorm is one of the spells that you most likely haven't played at all if you've just been min-maxing your spec. Firestorm hasn't been really good at all, which kind of sucks for a spec that's been added into the game that has about 2 or 3 spells baseline and 2 or 3 from the talents, and half of them you don't even play. So bringing Firestorm back is actually really cool. On top of it, you have Imminent Destruction, which also has been redesigned. Deep Breath reduces the essence cost of Disintegrate and Pyre by 1 for 10 seconds after you land, and it's now a 1 rank talent, leading into Feed the Flames. Now this is really cool. Deep Breath is obviously the most impressive spell that you have visually as Devastation, and baking more stuff into it is definitely warranted, and we'll get to more stuff that's been changed to Deep Breath, like Lay Waste, making it deal, and I've called this out by the way, Lay Waste now is giving you the 20% damage increase to Deep Breath on a 1-pointer instead of a 2-pointer, which I have to say, this is really good because, like I mentioned just a second ago, Deep Breath doesn't really have a lot of, talents that go into it. It was just, oh, you use it when it's off cooldown, but I can definitely see them adding more and more into this to make it feel more iconic, to make you actually feel like a dragon, as much as you can be a dragon. Burnout is also now a 1 rank talent. It was 2 ranks previously, and it's a chance to trigger is now 16%, which was the 2-pointer value from before. Once again, obviously, switching from, having 2-pointer investment into talents into having a 1-pointer investment is always really good. It feels really well to progress into your talent tree without having to like spend all of your stuff into some decently mediocre procs. Also, Scintillation, the capstone as well at the bottom right, has been addressed to be a 1 rank talent with its full power from the 2 ranks being in the 1 rank right now, making you, whenever you channel Disintegrate, you have a 15% chance each time it deals damage to launch a level 1 Eternity Surge at the respective 60% power, which obviously is one of the cooler things that you can do while channeling Disintegrate, because you do channel Disintegrate quite a bit in single target, so it's kind of boring not to play with this, and this making it easier to access and easier to build around because it's only 1 point definitely feels really good when we address all of the 2-point reductions to 1-pointers. Power Shell is also now a 1 rank talent, and the duration is 4 seconds. Once again, the former 2-pointer value. Also really good because when you go into the capstones, pretty much they're symmetrical, the left side and the right side, because Power Shell is on the right hand side. They all go 1-pointer into 1-pointer capstone. Definitely feels a lot better. I do really love this. Now we also have a new talent, which is Event Horizon. Eternity Surge cooldown is reduced by 3 seconds. And this is a choice talent node with Eye of Infinity, which are the talents that lead into Shattering Star. Now this is interesting because as it stands right now on live, Eternity Surge and Fire Breath kind of match their cooldowns together. You kind of cast them back to back almost always, because they do line up pretty well in terms of the cooldown, especially during Dragon Rage. With the cooldown being reduced by 3 seconds, obviously that's pretty cool because it definitely interacts with, the Dragon Rage extension a little bit better. I would imagine this could be really good in that exact same situation. Might even be the AoE choice, because it is a choice with Eye of Infinity that makes Eternity Surge deal 15% increased damage to your primary target, obviously the single target way, but either way, the Dragon Rage extension is a pretty core mechanic of Devastation, and having a 3-second less definitely makes it easier to extend it the 3rd time, because pretty much if you have your rotation down right now, you can definitely extend Dragon Rage twice. 3rd time is pretty much kind of like a haste check. If you have Bloodlust, you're probably gonna make it. If you have PI, it's very close. If you have PI and Bloodlust, obviously you're gonna definitely make it. So making it easier to access definitely feels better for the spec, although I do feel like if this essentially guarantees an extra extension of Dragon Rage, this might become baseline, so we'll see. Baseline as in you're probably always gonna take it. And speaking of Eye of Infinity, it also has changed to make Eternity Surge deal 15% increased damage to your primary target. Once again, pointed out that this could probably be the single target increased damage of choice, although 15%, I don't know if that's really gonna be good. We need to test this out and sim it to see exactly how well it actually plays. It obviously, we're not no strangers to Devastation needing a little bit more single target damage help. Arcane Vigor also has been redesigned. Shattering Star grants Essence Burst, and we are going into a couple of things that do this same thing, and this is actually cool because getting extra Essence is fine, but Essence Burst really enhances the flow of the spec, because you can obviously just work into your spenders. Obviously, it will probably feel really nice with causality. I would imagine causality being a pretty much cornerstone of Devastation when it comes to, you know, spending your essence on Pyre or Disintegrates. And now we're kind of like swapping around through the talent tree. Snapfire's chance to trigger Firestorm increased to 15%, which was 12%. Obviously, we're going into the Firestorm. Hopefully, we can actually see Firestorm be used in the next patch. And Raging Inferno's Firestorm radius bonus reduced to 25% was 50, and Pyre damage bonus reduced to 20% was 25, most likely to address the changes to Firestorm having a proc that just happens, which I guess is really cool. So all in all, the talent tree feels like it's a lot more clean, it's a lot more straight and narrow, it's a lot more, okay, this is what you want to do. You go on the Firestorm AoE side on the left hand side, single target on the right hand side, with some options to kind of feel great for both. It definitely feels good since you were pretty much stuck on the right hand side, never touching Firestorm, never touching obviously the choice node that's just below, and the addition to Deep Breath is really cool. I definitely feel like Devastation is going into the right direction. I would love to see more interactions with Deep Breath, although to be fair, the new design of Imminent Destruction makes it really cool, coupled with Causality, which I think is probably the most important change in this talent tree, because it will feel so much better, especially with something that hasn't necessarily changed, but Animosity being the choice, being the actual talent just below Dragon Rage, making casting an Empower spell extend the duration of Dragon Rage by 4 seconds. Now, what do you think? Is this revitalizing Devastation for you? Are you continuously gonna main it? Because I'm actually liking it more, obviously. I still feel like it needs a little bit more oomph to keep up with some of the other casters that we have in the game, some of the Warlock specs, the Shadow Priest, the Balanced Druids. Devastation still feels like it's lacking just a little bit more depth, a little bit more interaction, and some cool stuff that it can do, since its kit is pretty reduced in the terms of spells that you can cast and tools that are available. So let us know in the comment section down below what your opinions are. Thank you, patrons, for supporting the content and making these videos possible. If you, the viewer, want to contribute and help us grow and make more of this awesome style of content, check the link down below in the description for our Patreon page. It definitely supports us and helps us a lot, and we thank you for it. See you in the next one, guys. Bye.
I've been loving it then, I still love it now. Still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. Getting better every day, let me show you how. Cause still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. It's getting harder to stay, but at the end of the day, it's a guilty pleasure, so just log in and play. Whether it's classical retail, I'ma do a /bow. Still, I play WoW.